Uh-oh, something bad is about to happen. So Britain finally adopted the United States strategy. It took them a long time, but they finally did it. I guess they're either desperate or they have something in the works where they know they're going to need a bit of a distraction and going to need to get some other people to fall in line. So they finally got a non-white person to run for to become the prime minister. Very big deal. The United States has been doing that for a while, using non-white, wealthy white people hire non-white people and put them in these positions, and it doesn't matter that the person's not a white person. The person's just another whore who is being paid by the wealthy in order to push the wealthy's agenda. So the wealthy will hire somebody, I either give them money or offer them some sort of financial benefit, either now or in the future, and then the person accepts. They give them the money to run, so they fund their campaign. That's why you see people you never saw before out of nowhere, just coming out of nowhere and having all this money so that they can run ads. They're on all these. They have all of these commercials which cost millions of dollars each. They're getting offers from big news organizations to appear on their platform. They have all this access that a normal person would not doesn't know how to get or wouldn't have the money to get. And they use all of that. They get all that money from the wealthy person. The wealthy person funds it. They finance their campaign. And then once the person gets put into office, the wealthy person just tells that the new whore that they hired to do what they tell them. They say, "Here, pass this policy, convince people that this thing that they want isn't right for them. Just do what I want and help me out and help me make some money." And it looks like that's what Britain is finally doing. And they said, "Look, we're going to hire this an Asian guy, Indian guy, wherever he's from. This guy is works in investment banking, so of course you know what that means. They're going to bring him in, and you're going to see certain things are going to start happening, probably at an alarming rate. That's going to devastate life for poorer people even more." And the UK is just going to say, "Well, look, we're not as bad as all that. Look, we hired a non-white person to be in this role." So it's starting to become it's becoming so desperate for these wealthy people that they're doing this all over the damn globe. So again, this is a message, and this isn't. I normally make this message just for blacks. This message is for everybody. All the stuff that I just described earlier, the wealthy people are able to do it only because we give them the money they need in order to hire these whores. We fund everything that is done to us. Any bad thing that happens to you, any bad thing that you or your family is going through, you finance it and you fund it, and you do that by going into these stores every weekend, taking the money you've earned from your job and pumping it back into these wealthy people's bank accounts. They take that money and they use that money to fund all this stuff. They hire all these people to control a lot of this stuff, to pay off senators and councilmen and politicians in order to get bills created, written, and passed, bills that benefit them. They pay them to shut down bills that will benefit us at their expense. And they get all that money because every weekend we take the money that we got from work and we go and we pump it into these people's accounts, and then they then take that money and use it against us. So any people out there complaining about stuff that's been happening or is about to happen, as long as you keep collectively spending money, just just deal with it. Just put your hands in the air and just deal with it, because it's just going to keep happening. If you want some change, you have to convince everyone you know and love to stop shopping. Convince your friends, convince your neighbors, convince your family to stop shopping. That's what you need to do going forward. Voting is not going to help you because the candidates that are running for office are all picked. The wealthy people hire them. They select them. The reason you know about these candidates is because the wealthy people put them on television. The wealthy people own the news networks, and they tell the news networks, "Hey, I got this new candidate. Give them a platform. Do some interviews with them." They go onto radio stations and say, "I have a candidate. Here's some money. Put them on. I want you to do an interview with them." That's why you see these candidates out of nowhere you never saw before, never heard of. They're supposed to be a regular old citizen who's not rich or wealthy, but for some unknown reason, they're all on the radio. They're on television. They're all over the place. Um, so voting is irrelevant because they select the people. They present their employees to you. And then you say, oh, well, I'm going to listen to this person. This person sounds reasonable. The person sounds like they're going to fight against the wealthy. But the wealthy is the one that hired them. They work for the wealthy. So voting is irrelevant. It doesn't make sense because the wealthy control politics. They control what policies are made. They control what bills are being written. A lot of these business owners write the bills. Um, Anything that you just that the people come together and try to put together to help them, well, the wealthy people just pay their employees, your politicians, to shut down the bill. Tell them, look, just shut down the bill, veto the bill, come up with some explanation as to why we can't pass this thing that these poor people want. That's what the politician does. That's why politicians run on certain things, say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then once they get elected, they come up with all these excuses as to why they can't do it. Oh, well, this is not going to work. It's not feasible. I'm getting pushback from these other politicians. It's so hard for me to. Sorry, I know I said I was going to do it, but gosh darn it, wouldn't you know, I just can't get it done. Gosh golly darn it, geez. So voting doesn't work. Marching obviously is irrelevant. The wealthy people don't see you marching because they don't live anywhere near you. They don't hear your complaints. They don't watch your videos. They don't watch your um, what else do people do? Rallies. They don't want. They pay attention to any of that other stuff. The only thing that is important to them is that you keep spending money and you keep pumping money into their system. As long as you're not violent, you're not attacking them, and you keep working and you keep spending money, they don't. You can do whatever you like. They don't care. They don't care if you do backflips in the street naked on fire. They don't care about that. As long as you keep giving them money, you're not a threat to them physically, and you keep working, keep the businesses running. You can do whatever you like, buddy. It's not going to change nothing. The wealthy people aren't going to change because why would they change? All the bad stuff that's happening to you is a benefit to them. So why would they stop it? Why would they change it? They're not going to change it. The only thing you can do, the only way to get their attention is by taking your money away from them. If enough of us do it collectively, enough people around the globe stop going into these big chain stores, then you will get their attention. Then they'll say, oh, this quarter I received $16 billion less than I normally do. What's going on? Let me go find out. That's when they will see you flipping, doing backflips in the street naked on fire. Then they'll say, oh, this person's really upset. Mr. Politician, Mrs. Politician that I hired that works for me, go find out what these people want. Find out what it is that they want, and then we have to figure out a way to make them happy. We have to give them something. That's the only way you're going to get it. You're not going to get it any other way. These people are wealthy. They have everything they want and need. So you have nothing to bring to the table. You have no bargaining chips other than the money that you spend. And if collectively we do it, enough of us do it, then it will start to hurt them. Then it will get their attention. And when I say stop shopping, it's not as simple as just don't spend money. Obviously, that's stupid. You got to buy gas. You have to still be able to get to work. You still got to eat. You still got to buy clothes. You still got to buy medicine. Of course, you got to keep shopping. What I mean by stop shopping is take away the money from these big businesses, the big chain stores that you see in every state, in every borough, in every city, in every province. All these big chain stores, the Walmarts, the Krogers, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, all the big supermarkets, the big department stores, the big sports stores, all the big chain stores that you see. Pull your money from those. If you need to buy groceries, find a local farmer's market. Go to a bodega. Go to a small mom and pop shop that is not connected to one of these big chains. If you want a snack or you want to eat out, go to a local restaurant that is not a chain. Go to a mom and pop's restaurant, a little hole in the wall, or make the food yourself. If you need clothes, buy them online from someone overseas in some other country, maybe in China, unfortunately, or find a local boutique, or make the clothes yourself. Try to limit the amount of money that you spend in these big chain stores. That's the only way you get these people's attention. One of the best examples I always use is there's a guy by the name of Rupert Murdoch. He's a billionaire, or who has access, who has his hand in a lot of pots. People know him as a newspaper guy, as a news person, as someone who makes publications. So how do you hurt him? Well, if you don't, most people don't all buy newspapers or magazines. So you're like, well, I don't fund him, I don't finance him, but he owns a substantial amount of stock, I believe, in Burger King. So you by this is just one example. So by going to Burger King on a regular basis, yeah, you are helping. You're helping him. You're funding him. You're pumping money into one of his businesses, into one of his accounts. He then is going to take that money and use it to do certain things that hurt you, like giving a platform through one of his publications to a politician that he or one of his wealthy friends hired. So it all comes back to the money. All these wealthy people, they have their hands in different pots. They own portions of certain companies. They own stock in other companies. They have their hands all over. And by you going and putting your money in all these big chain stores, you don't know who or what you're financing. You have no idea who you're giving your money to and who is using that money to hurt you by doing things like making sure you don't have access to Medicare, so you can go to the hospital if you need it and not become bankrupt, by making sure you don't make enough money to live, by making sure that you only make enough money to get by. Because in a wealthy person's mind, if everybody's rich, then no one is. So their job is to keep you poor. They need to keep poor people around because if you don't have poor people, well, you can't get people to do the stuff that you want for you. You lose your bargaining chip. So spread the word around. Stop shopping. Stop buying things. I don't ask people to share my videos. I don't ask people to like my videos. I don't ask people to subscribe. I don't ask people for money. I don't ask for any of that. All I ask is if you've listened to this and it makes sense to you, just spread the idea, the concept, and the message that if you stop shopping, only then will you be able to get some real change. Stop shopping.